Hey guys, this is Drag1. This is week 22 for the Cool Otakus, and this week we're talking about manga versus comics. And the guy who submitted this question, I cannot pronounce his name whatsoever, so I'm just going to put it below the video. But yeah, he submitted manga versus comics, and now that wasn't actually the topic that was chosen as number one, like the most voted topic, but I chose that one because it really appealed to me, and it seemed like a really interesting topic to talk about. Obviously, the one that was voted top this week is going to get carried over to next week, and it was submitted by DK Josh. But also, that was mainly the reason why I carried it over for next week as well, because it was submitted by a Cool Otaku themselves. So I kind of thought that the user would have more priority, like the viewer's question would get answered first before the actual Cool Otaku question. But okay, so just before I want to start this video, I just want to say a big farewell to my Manga Quest, because he's told me in the message that he's leaving to go to, I think he said he's going to join like the Air Force or something for like 2 months. So I just want to say that dude, we'll miss you, and your position for the Cool Otakus will always be open. We will just have a temporary replacement for 2 months. If you want to be the Thursday otaku, then please send me a message for, you know, a temporary otaku, obviously for only 2 months. So if you want to be a temporary fill-in for Thursday, please send me a message or post a comment or video response. Actually, post a video response on this video, and you know, I'll decide who will be the next Thursday otaku, unless DK Josh or J-Man wants to take up the position like for 2 months. I don't know. It's really up to you. So you guys tell me what you want. Do you guys, J-Man or DK Josh, message me if you want that position, or if a user who's or a viewer would like to take up the position for a couple of months, then go ahead and send me a video response. So the topic for this week is a topic that I've wanted to talk about for a while. I've wanted to talk about this, me and my mates always talk about this all the time, and I've always wanted to just make a video explaining like manga versus comics. Now, what I mean by manga versus comics is I'm assuming he is assuming like the differences and like how similar some of the like manga and comics are, and then like some of the differences and what makes manga, what makes comics, or he actually just meant manga versus comics as in which is better. So I'm going to go with the fact that the differences and my personal opinion on which is better. So manga and comics are, even though they are, I know manga is Japanese for comic, but manga and comic are so different, but yet so the same as well. It's kind of like really it's kind of really strange on how similar but also different they really are. For example, I'll go through it. So I know manga and comics are, obviously they're made on two different sides of the world. Like manga is made in Japan, comics are made in the US and like sort of Western countries. And the difference between comic and manga is that you know, manga is got a very unique art style, and comics have sort of very kind of semi-realistic art style. Obviously not all the time, but that's normally sort of how they are like sort of, you know, identified, as the fact that comics have sort of got its own, you know, sort of this semi-realistic art style, while manga has sort of got that the kind of typical really big eyes, kind of like sort of, if you look at manga, manga characters normally kind of have a slightly oversized head. Like it's not really like oversized that you notice, but it's kind of just slightly oversized because of like the fact that they got really big eyes. Manga and comics, like two sort of very kind of similar kind of things. So manga and comics, both so awesome, and I do love manga and comics, but I mean, they are so similar but yet so different at the same time. It's kind of, I mean, explaining this is kind of, for me, really hard to explain just how different and how similar they are. Like, I know comics came first before manga. I mean, I know comics were definitely around before manga was, but manga, from my understanding, as manga was taken, a lot of inspiration was originally taken from comics, and like the very early manga looked like sort of American comics. Like they didn't, when manga first started off in Japan, it sort of, they kind of really tried to go for like, oh, let's try and go for the comic book kind of look, but then eventually they developed their own style, and manga's just sort of come off from there, and it's completely become its own thing. And like, if you look at comics and manga, comics is very sort of, you know, very kind of, the stories are, there is no sort of like genres in, like, I know there's action, adventure and that kind of thing, but there's no sub-genres in like in comics. There is, I mean, there's like, you know, most comics, I mean not all of them, but most comics are more like it's like the main focus is on the guy, he's got superpowers and he's just sort of trying to learn to use them. That's kind of the premise of most comics. Again, not all the time. I mean, not all comics are sort of based on, you know, a vigilante sort of going around and saving the city, but most comics are more or less kind of, you know, superhero based. There's always the guy with superpowers. Manga, completely different. Manga has its own genres in it, like there's shonen, shoujo, seinen. There's also harem, slice of life, mech. I'm trying to think of like others. I can't remember can't pronounce like for like the target audience for like older women. It's like Josai or something like that. And there's so many genres for like manga. And then for comics there isn't really, there's not, I mean there is like action adventure and like gore and that kind of thing, but there isn't any sort of variety. I guess yes, there is differences, like there, you know, there's not all comics are the same, like, you know, some comics are like, but most comics are more or less like there's a superhero, and the main focus is on him trying to figure out how to use his powers and save the city kind of thing. So well, manga isn't like that at all. Like, manga is completely, every story is different. I know there's some like manga that are rip off like other, like One Piece, but One Piece is about pirates, Naruto's about ninjas, Bleach is about Shinigami. So I mean, just pointing out 3 completely different manga. Also, manga is obviously made in Japan and made by people that are Japanese. I know some people in like America or the US, America or the UK will try and make manga, but it's technically not classed as manga. I believe the right word for that is called is it, no, it's not pseudo, I think it's called pseudo manga, which means kind of outside of Japan. Like, if it's, I think that's the right term. Again, I'm not exactly sure, but yeah, I mean, if it's not made in Japan, it's technically not manga, but I mean, you can do it in the in that sort of art style, and yes, it kind of is manga, but it isn't. So if you get what I mean. Now, the main thing that really annoys me about comics, I must say, like, even though I really do like comics and I really do like manga, the main thing that really pisses me off about comics is like, manga is very straightforward. It's very sort of simple plot. Like One Piece, very simple plot. You know, Luffy trying to become King of the Pirates, trying to find the One Piece. Naruto trying to become fourth Hokage. Is it like 6th Hokage or something like that? The next Hokage. Bleach is sort of, you know, trying to kill Hollows. And I mean, plot's very simple. When comics, yes, the plot starts off simple. But the fact is that what annoys me about comics is the fact that in manga, if the character dies, the character stays dead. They don't come back. Oh, in like Naruto and Bleach's case, they may get resurrected. But there's never in manga where like a character dies and then they'll do a spin-off story from that and create their own series from that. And like, if like there'll be the main story, like for example, Spider-Man. Like the story was like, you know, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, and there'll be like a spin-off story where Spider-Man dies and someone else takes over his role, and then there'll be a new comic series on that, and then the other one's still ongoing, but there's 2 series, and then in the other series someone might die in that series, you know, or the one where Spider-Man died and someone taking over his role, and then they'll do a spin-off for that. So comics are very confusing. Comics are so confusing. I mean, manga can be confusing, but it's nowhere near as complicated and as confusing as comics are. I mean, comics get ridiculously confusing at some points, especially sort of the big series like Spider-Man, the Hulk, Iron Man, Ghost Rider, Batman. Again, especially confusing because there's so many spin-offs for Batman and Superman and the Flash, and there's so many spin-offs and so many different routes in the story, and it really is confusing. That's the only thing that pisses me off so much about comics. While manga, on the other hand, is very straightforward. You know, there's no spin-offs. Obviously there is, like, you know, they may bring characters back to life, but there's never like spin-off stories from that, I know there is like kind of like that, like there might be chibi versions of like the story, but there's never like One Piece and then One Piece 1.0 and that they've spun off and like done a different story from like say Ace, instead of like when Ace dies, spoiler alert, Ace dies, they didn't do a side story where Ace is still alive, you know, and it's kind of, that's how comics are. But I also, you know, the big difference between manga and comics is the art style. Like, you look at comics have got a sort of very semi-realistic art style, while mangas are sort of, you know, if you look at manga, most manga characters, they do have a slightly oversized head. I know it's not a big difference, but if you look at a normal person's head and look at like a manga head, like let's say that's a normal person's head, the manga head might be sort of like that, like slightly a bit bigger. That's because, you know, the eyes are quite huge in manga. Like they always do manga characters, and not all the time, but they always do manga characters with quite huge eyes because that's kind of the style, and sort of, you know, the kind of like spiky-ish hair, and that's kind of how manga is. And comics, when I say semi-realistic, because I mean comics, yes, manga do like exaggerate body proportions, but they don't do it as much as comics do. Comics do it way over the top. Like for example, the women in comics are so like over the top. Like I know they are in manga. I mean, sometimes manga's even worse, but comics really do take it to the extreme. Like muscles are especially bad in comics. Like if you look at the Incredible Hulk's muscles, he's got muscles on his muscles on his muscle. It's ridiculous. And then you look at like for example, Catwoman. She's got like, I mean, like nobody has a body that perfect. I mean, it's nobody in this planet has a body like that whatsoever. I mean, you don't see a girl that's really skinny but has like a big arse and big boobs and like the hips like going like that. I mean, it's just not possible. So I mean, comics are like really bad for over exaggerating sort of body proportions, but I mean, it's just kind of the style. I know not all comics do that, but most comics do. And you know, that's the differences that I see in manga and comics, and I really do love both of them, but I've just got to say that I prefer manga to comics. You probably could tell by my manga collection because I've got a shitload, but I do like comics too, but I prefer to read manga because it's not as confusing as comics are. I mean, manga, you'll get to One Piece and you know eventually you'll catch up, but to comics you can be collecting them for bloody ever. Like there's so many spin-offs, so many comics. You literally will be collecting them forever if you decide to go for comics. I mean, it's easier just to stick to like one sort of series. Like if you're going to go buy the Amazing Spider-Man, buy the Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, don't go and get all the spin-offs of like, you know, the Fantastic Spider-Man, or you know, Ultimate Spider-Man, or Spider-Man 2047. I don't believe that's the right title, but you know, you guys get the picture. So yeah, that's sort of my video on comics versus manga. I don't have anything else to add to that. What do you guys think? Guys, you've got to stop leaving me video responses, because I'm started trying to get into this thing where people's got to leave me video responses, because I'd like to see your guys' opinion on this. I like, what do you think of the topic that we talked about this week? What do you think? What do you like about manga and comics, and what do you think the main differences are, and what do you think what's bad about like the bad things about manga, what's the bad things about comics, but what do you like about manga, what do you like about comics? You know, just compare them both. So I mean, leave me video responses, leave me comments, because I do read all the comments, and if people leave me a video response, I will watch it. So leave video responses from now on, and also don't forget to vote in the mod section of this channel and vote for next. Actually no, there won't be any mod section in this channel this week. Actually, what I'll do is within about 4 days I will put certain people's names on like the mod section. Just people vote for who they think should be the next Thursday Otaku for the next couple of months, unless I've already decided. So yeah, I think I'll do that. So yeah, this is Drag1. Thanks for checking out my video. I know it's late, I know it's Tuesday, and yet I've still not put it up. I know I suck. You know, I take long to upload my videos, but I've been busy, okay? So leave me alone. So yeah, I think you should have Roy later today, or tomorrow possibly. Wednesday you'll have Nem. Thursday is still open. So I mean, I don't know about Thursday. We might have to get J-Man to cover for Thursday or something. And then Friday, I believe you've got Uncle Mean, and then Saturday you've got DK Josh or J-Man. and then Sunday you've got Hello Fop. But I'm gonna have to start sending people messages because not many people have been making videos. So yeah, including me. I know. Okay. So anyways, guys, this is Dragon World. Please subscribe, guys. Check out my other videos. Go to my channel and check out my videos. So latest.